What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you're a Kamen Rider fan, man, you're having one of the best weekends of your life as a Kamen Rider fan. As you all know, 50th anniversary, so there's a lot of news coming out regarding Kamen Rider this weekend. Everything from anime shows to now other shows, reboot shows, movies, all that good stuff. But the thing I wanted to talk about is what you see right here on the screen right now, and that is Kamen Rider Black returns with the reboot series, Sun. Now, for those of you that have been subscribed to me for a while, you probably know Kamen Rider Black is my favorite Kamen Rider of all time, hands down. So this, to me, immediately, when I found out about this, oh my goodness, this is going to be great. Hopefully, right? Because they can still screw it up, but let's see, right? Let's go ahead and read this here real quick. I'll go ahead and link it in the description below for those of you that want to check it out for yourselves. It says, following the Fudo Detectives Web anime, the official website for the Kamen Rider franchise's 50th anniversary project announced its second phase, Kamen Rider Black Sun, a reboot of the 8th Kamen Rider TV series in 1987 through 1988, Kamen Rider Black. So, as y'all know, Kamen Rider Black, even for its time when it came out, was a pretty dark show. Still for kids. I would still say, kids can watch it, no problem. But it was so well written. If you watch it now, some of the, CG work and all that is a little bit dated. But if you can get past all that, all of the just kind of bad effects and things like that are much more noticeable, which I think just kind of add more of a little bit of a charm to it, personally. But if you're a person that everything has to be really nice and smooth and pretty looking, you'll definitely notice all the flaws in the show. I mean, it's an old show. But if you can get past all that and just watch it for what it is, and that is a very good story, you'll enjoy it. I think it has one of the best stories in the history of a Kamen Rider show. Especially, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, of the Showa era, in my opinion, in terms of story. But that's just my opinion. Let's go on with this article here. It says Kazuya, whose last name I'm going to butcher here, is Shiraashi, known for his suspense violence films such as The Devil's Path and The Blood of Wolves, is attached to direct. He says, I am shuddering at this outrageous project, a reboot of Kamen Rider Black. I will put all my talents into it so that it will not be crushed by the weight of 50 years of Kamen Rider history. I will do my best to make sure that the sad story of the two Kotaro Minami and Nobuhiko Akazuki will leave a new mark on the history of Japanese heroes. Please look forward to it. So, of course, Kotaro Minami, main character of the series, it's going to be back this time around. Now, because it's a reboot, I think it's pretty fair to assume that the original Kotaro Minami, Tetsuo Kurata, will not be reprising the role of Kotaro Minami because it's not going to be age appropriate for the role anymore, let's be honest here. But I do hope that we do see a cameo appearance by him. I don't see a scenario where he's not involved in this project in some form or another, and what role he would take, whether it's just some random cameo role or maybe some type of mentorship role to one of the characters in this series, maybe even Kamen Rider Black himself, who knows? Because now that you have this reboot series, you have a chance to do things a little bit different. You don't have to tell the story exactly as it was told in Kamen Rider Black. You could still use those characters, tell more or less generally the same story, but add some different characters, add some different elements in to really differentiate it from the original Kamen Rider Black, which is what I'm thinking it'll probably end up happening in some capacity. So this is set to come out in spring of 2022. The other thing I find interesting, of course, is the name Black Sun. I'm wondering if that's at all going to be any kind of a reference to the follow-up series to Kamen Rider Black, which is Kamen Rider Black RX. If you all remember, that is the sequel series, like I said, to Black, in which Kotaro's power basically evolves and he becomes Kamen Rider Black RX. And one of the things he says when he henshins into Kamen Rider Black RX is, I am the child of the sun, Kamen Rider Black RX. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with this title, or maybe it's just because Kamen Rider Black Sun, and then of course, as we know, the main enemy of the original Kamen Rider series was Kamen Rider Black series, I should say, was Shadow Moon. So maybe Black Sun, Shadow Moon, maybe it's just that, or maybe it's just purely to differentiate that this is a reboot series. Who knows? Very interested to see what that is all about. But I really am looking forward to seeing this, and the reason why is I'm thinking they're going to go the route, because of who they got attached to this, a director that has done suspense and violent films apparently, that they're going to go the gritty route. This is not going to be a Kamen Rider show for kids, or it's going to have any kind of appeal towards kids. I think this is purely being done to appeal to that older fan base, and specifically those that grew up watching Kamen Rider Black. So I'm guessing it's going to be a darker, grittier Kamen Rider series a la Kamen Rider Amazons. For those of you that haven't seen that, I think it's a great series, the way I'd like to see Kamen Rider, a little darker, grittier tone. Not that I mind the other ones, but I like me some of the darker, grittier Kamen Riders as well. So it'll be interesting to see which route they go. One last little bit of information though here before we go ahead and close out this video, and I'm sure I'll end up doing another video on this one, but this news is also coming out. Shin Kamen Rider, movie by Hideki Anno, coming in 2023. So this is just an announcement. It says here, Kamen Rider has announced another major project for its 50th anniversary. Legendary filmmaker Hideki Anno, fresh off of Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman, will bring his talents to the Kamen Rider world in a new project titled Shin Kamen Rider. Now, I did see pictures of this. I saw people sharing this online, and even though it says here, you know, I kind of assume this just from seeing the picture, but presumably this release will have no connection to the 1992 film of the same name. Shin Kamen Rider will be released in 2023. And for those of you that may or may not know, yes, there was a film in 1992, a standalone film called Shin Kamen Rider Prologue. It was really this kind of Kamen Rider, horror film, I guess you could say, because he would actually literally transform into the grasshopper-like creature and, you know, fight people like that. And it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that with Shin Kamen Rider. As you see, he's wearing the scarf here, but it does look like it's going to have a dark and gritty tone as well, at least from this initial sketch. I mean, we can't say a whole lot. We don't know for sure, but at least from the look of it, that seems to be the route that it's probably going to go as well. And that seems to be more Hideki Anno's style, but we'll have to just wait and see on this one. This one's coming out in 2023, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this is all about as well, if there's any kind of callbacks to Shin Kamen Rider Prologue as well. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. But what do you guys think of all this Kamen Rider news coming out this weekend? I'm sure there's more that's going to come out by the time this video is posted. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And be sure to check out the latest video that I put out if you're interested in seeing or finding out about who is the true godfather of Power Rangers. That video is right here. Be sure to check that out. And until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues.
Hajime ni hikaru